excellent afternoon to all those who are watching us across the states. And the only place where right and wrong lives is our conscience. Yes, and I think that sometimes even those who work closely with you should have conscience. And because I feel that they have no other place than the conscience, and that remains the judge of what is right and what is wrong. And with that, I say welcome again to all those who are watching us across the states in Nigeria or across the globe, because some people actually tune in online. Yeah, Marshall, how are you doing?
Fantastic, fantastic. I just kept hearing your voice in my head. And I said when I come on air, I hope I don't begin to repeat all the things Kike has been yelling about. You know? she's been hot on fire. The firebrand, that's why I call her the firebrand. My name is Marshall Anson. I'd like to say welcome to the Real Talk with Kike show, the RTWK show as I like to call it. FO is here with us. Welcome.
Hello Marshall, good to see you. Where have you been? Where on the radar have you been?
Around the world.
Good, it's good to see you. Hello Kike.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Cheer up. It can only get better. Hello viewer, welcome to our launch hour show. Welcome to our show today. Join in the conversation and let's do some mind-boggling discussion this afternoon. My name is Efo. Welcome.
All right.
Mind-boggling, and that's exactly what Marshall likes, because he's always saying, Kike, there must be once or twice of, no guests that we have to just banter on trending issues, and it doesn't have to be guest-dominated show and the likes and all that. Since then, I've paid attention.
Okay.
Exactly 15 years ago, Umar Yar'Adua, governor of Katsina State, was elected president of Nigeria. Let's get more of this story from on this day in history segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
On this day in 2007, 21st April, Umar Yar'Adua, governor of Katsina State, was elected president of Nigeria. In the presidential election held on the 21st April 2007, Yar'Adua won the 70% of the vote, 24.6 million votes, according to the official results released on the 23rd April. The election was highly controversial, strongly criticized by observers, as well as two primary opposition candidates, Muhammadu Buhari of the All Nigeria People's Party and Atiku Abubakar of the Action Congress. The result was largely rejected as having been rigged in Yar'Adua's favor. In 1999, Yar'Adua won the state governorship. He was first governor to publicly declare his assets. Yar'Adua's administration saw various developments in the state. Katsina became the fifth northern Nigerian state to adopt Sharia, or Islamic law. Education was prioritized and several schools were built in local areas. Yar'Adua also delivered on his promise of running an efficient public administration, with corruption significantly hampered. In 2003, he was later re-elected for a second term in office, and his successor was Ibrahim Shima.
All right, there's a lot of things happening behind the camera today, guys. I told the technical director Moses that this year we have to start recording some of the actions that goes on behind the camera, so that the world cannot actually see that.
That won't be good for
all
the
of
viewer. It will not be good for them.
All right, back to on this day in history segment. My first comment on this is the fact that I like the fact that Yar'Adua was the first person that declared his assets at the time and all of that. But when I look at the people who had criticized him at the time, and they are now in government and they've acted worse, I'm trying to imagine. Can you imagine to pick up the form as at 2022 today cost 100 million naira? I'm wondering, at the time, how much was it when Yar'Adua was on seat? At the time, how much was it when Jonathan was on seat? So it seems as if things are getting pretty worse. Even the so-called President Muhammadu Buhari, who said he went to borrow money at the bank to collect 20 million naira. I just feel that, when I look at the characters of our This Day in History segment, it baffles me to think that, where are we actually? Are we actually in a safe place? The answer is no. Masha, what's your take on this?
Talking about on This Day in History, What it brings to mind is the meekness of the man, Umar Musa Yar'Adua, of blessed memory. How meek he was, the development he brought to Katsina State, and the fact that he centralized, or would I say he secularized, so to speak, to an extent, his adoption of Sharia by also ensuring that education was a priority in Katsina State. He didn't just focus on the need to have the Sharia adopted in the state. He also proliferated education. He built schools and all that.
To create a balance.
Yes, you know, so that for me was a thumbs up for him. And just when he was elected as president, we saw his footsteps too. He was, you know, he was on his way to having impacts being felt by Nigerians just before his demise.
Yeah.
I want to think Marshall has said it all, basically.
Please, can you touch on the characters that you saw in
the Yaradua family that we know, particularly him, like you said, very meek gentleman. Unfortunately, you know, life happened, sickness set in and all of that, you know. I think he was a man of integrity. And he wasn't, just like Kike noted, he wasn't the flamboyant one. He wasn't the man about town, not at all. I think for him it was about service. The core thing for him was service. But unfortunately...
And to just add to what you've said, you know,
Yes.
you can see the reflection of him in his children. You know, I've actually paid attention to his children and the wife or wives that he left behind.
Yes.
And you can see how modest they are. Yes, even if you think maybe you're questioning the fact that maybe allegedly they could have, you know, amassed wealth or something, but it's not in your face. Just like the people who are in government at the moment. But you know what, guys, let's leave it like that and get the word from our sponsors. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with us. Of course, like I said earlier, we'll be having a lot of trending issues that we'll be touching on today. Can't say Marshall was all that neck on this. All right. Today, the first trending issue that we'll be focusing on is like I earlier mentioned during our on this day in history segment is APC, you know, nomination forms in terms of their presidential and governorship aspirants to pay 100 million naira and 50 million naira each, and of course at the Senate level they will pay 20 million naira. And for House of Representatives, I think 10 million naira, and state houses of assembly is 2 million naira. Guys, you know, looking at this, I cannot help but compare PDP presidential forms, you know, that goes for 40 million naira. At least I've seen my Bodili Momodu talk about that. I've paid my own is 40 million naira, you know, and the governorship form is also 21 million naira. And with over, I think, I can't remember now the statistics, at least the amount of APC forms that will be picked. Can we imagine how much revenue that they will generate from it? And does it make them even free of allegations of spending too much on these forms? Because to me, I just feel that how on earth did they even arrive at that? Just like I said in the on this day in this issue segment, I want to go back to when President Muhammadu Buhari picked his form. It was 20 million naira. And I remembered vividly how he lamented. Yes, he claimed that it was the bank that loaned him. But I know that there are quite a number of people who also donated towards that cause. Do you understand? So how can a man, you know, who picked a form for 20 million naira at the time, do you understand? And I think in 19... Are you
sure it was a bank that loaned him?
No.
Or he said
I like that.
His well-wishers came together.
I'm quoting what he said.
Yes.
Now, going back to 2015 or so, or thereabout, or when, he also, you know, I think they moved it to 45 million naira. Now, at 2023, they are saying that it's now 100 million naira. I'm wondering, Marshall, let me come to you for what do you think? What do you, as in, compared to PDP, what's it called? Nomination form. What's your take on this?
Well, I think if you want to put it in comparison to that of PDP, I don't think we'll be doing more justice to it. Yes, a little justice, because you can see the disparity in the price. Senga said, my money and your money never meet. PDP and APC for money never meet. Permit me to say that. But like you said, Expo started the show by saying, let's discuss some mind-boggling issues here. it is really mind-boggling. You've cited how a form was picked by the president at 20 million naira, and at the time he even lamented. And to think that he will spearhead the party affairs into another election where forms will be sold at 100 million and 50 million outrageously. I was talking to a friend about it, and he said, "Oh, what do you mean? They're in power, and it's expected that they would have more money, you know." So, and on the contrary, I felt if they're in power, shouldn't they even show more example of how, you know, things should rather be done? I would have rather expected that within their party, being that they're the party in power, the form should either be close to free. I don't know if you understand me, Efo. It should be close to free and not so exorbitant. You know, it only goes to show, like Kike has rightly said, the level of wealth that has been amassed by these people that are said to be in power.
And they have no conscience.
And whose wealth?
And whose wealth? Of course, that of the masses. And then again, need I remind us that I think the image makers or the people who are advising the party not doing good service to them, because this would also spur Nigerians on the alternative to supporting them, because it will only go to say that election hasn't started and you're already showing us how much you're spending on your election. You know, remember that it is always sung like a sing song that, look, if this guy spent too much, at the end of the day, they'll want to recoup this money. This is just on form. So now I leave you to the imagination of how much they will be spending in elections. They've not bought the rice, so they've not branded the bags of rice, so they've not started their tours, they've not started posters, TV commercials and all of that, radio jingles. This is just only on form. Nigerians, it's just, you're left to your imaginations to think how much these guys will be spending on the election.
All right, Masha, very thanks for that. Let me come to you, Miss Efo, the woman with the great hair. You know, because I saw when Masha was talking about image, you know, because I know that the civil society legislative advocacy center, that's CISLAC, you know, on Wednesday queried the ruling all Progressive Congress APC who they said that who can legally afford APC's 100 million naira presidential forms of nomination, and what is the expression of their interest in all of this. And therefore, my question to you right now is the fact that would this not give way to corruption, you know, when it comes to all these politicians and money bags, you know, that they're hijacking from this electoral process? And how would I put it, that do you think, you know, that they are dictating the tune of for those who want to sponsor them in terms of purchase of form, of how exorbitant the amount is, and how at the end of the day they'll be relying on these people eventually to give back to them when they're in the corridor of power? Because I feel that one way or the other is a way of, you know, flaunting corruption. What's your take on this?
Kike, corruption has been entrenched already. So it's not something that is going to be introduced to them. Like they say on the streets, this is the next level, indeed. Everywhere you go to buy something, they say, next level we did. Yeah, do you understand? You know, so is this what Nigerians bargain for? The answer is a big fat no. Just like Marshall said, and you have also said it. You see corruption everywhere. You sleep, you see corruption. You wake up, you see corruption. In your dreams, you see corruption. What are we talking about? We're talking about 100 million to purchase a form, and I hear in the camp of one of them, they said their check is ready. And
to add to what you've just said, I stumbled on Reno Mokore's post where he said that if EFCC does not go after the people who are purchasing these presidential forms, they understand that we should hold the EFCC accountable, because you could remember when Obi Kubana at the time was burying the mother and they went after him. And I know that the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria as well on Wednesday urged the EFCC, or the Economic Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to, you know, probe the source of wealth of all the progressive Congress, I mean all the APC presidential aspirants who picks up the party nomination form. And I just feel that, you know, do they even need to remind the FCC or tell the FCC what to do? Because as far as I'm concerned, what kind of job are you even doing to be able to pick 100 million? And I'm going to say this again, how many people How many people are you expecting to actually collect money together to come and say they want to come and support anti-FO? Even me that I'm hustling and busting from one organization to one this, to one that, one this and that.
Kike, it's a good thing you talked about the EFCC.
Yeah.
He who pays the piper dictates the tune.
tune.
So what are we talking about? You know, Nigeria has become such a joke. In the face of hunger, poverty, deaths, name it. One person or his camp will pick up a phone. Like I said, one of them said, the camp of one of them, the presidential aspirant, their check is ready. So, yes, Asiwaju, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, they said their check is ready. So, I mean, it's
I did not say that, though.
No, I heard on the news.
It was said that.
I heard, that's why I said the camp. I didn't say him.
His supporters.
That's why I'm saying his camp, not him. It was on the news this morning, just before I left. Do you understand? You know, so in the face of everything that Nigerians have to deal with, you wake up in the morning to hear, I mean, the stories they never end. 100 million to pick up a form. No problem. 50 million. Very soon we'll be talking in trillions in this country.
I wouldn't have expected that the APC, the ruling party, would have set money as the yardstick for anybody, you know, coming out to contend for that position. I would have thought that they would have set the bar high in terms of character, pedigree, political worth, or if you may, some kind of measures that would examine the credibility of these persons coming. We have the ICPC, EFCC, we have CLOs, you know, they could put this team together to examine the characters and put these people intending to run for presidency under their party through some sort of examination. You know, being the ruling party, I would have expected some top-notch exercise from them than, you know, raising the bar in terms of money and saying, you know, yeah, but like Kike rightly said, she's trying to make a comparison between the APC and the PDP, because that's the much we have.
Yes, that's the much we have, but good enough? No. How do we go on like this? If somebody gives up 100 million just to purchase a form, paper, right? So what happens when the person gets there? It's same of the same. It's just a cycle. We keep going round and round and round. It's just that, like I said, on the streets, next level.
All right. I hear you guys. But you see, I think that we create our own problems ourselves, because when you look at what is happening today in the society, someone like me might just want to port, for lack of a better word right now, port to PDP. You know, I'm still with, I belong to nobody, all of you. I support everyone, but nobody will invest 100 million naira and expect that he or she gets nothing in return. Because I just feel that if I put my money on Masha right now, Masha does not get there and not give me any job or any business, you know, and all of that. And this is where...
And whether you deliver on that job or not, exactly. I will not talk.
Yes. And I feel that this is where poor governance and misappropriation of funds, you know, of money actually determines the kind of aspiration of our candidate before the credibility and their own credentials as well. Because really, we continue to build castles in the air in Nigeria. We continue to put people who are in the corridor of power that lacks the leadership and the power of character. Hence the reason why we are where we are today. Now, those who do legitimate jobs, like I said, in Nigeria, I'm extremely sure they can never, because when you think of how you wake up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. to, you know, dash out and the likes and all of that, some of the challenges that we are facing today when it comes to the foundational root of how parents, you know, raise their children is because of how they work their ass off. Because I'm trying to imagine, can you actually afford 100 million naira except those who are thieves, except those who are in the political armed robbery corridor of power that have stolen state funds?
Don't even see the technocrats bringing out that kind of money.
Now, these same political rogues, you know, will afford the price tag, and I'm happy that you said one of them. I'm quoting you now.
I heard on the news.
Yeah, I'm just quoting you. That one of them, you know, said that the money is ready and they're ready to invest and all of that.
They said their check is ready. That's what the news said.
I'm asking, why are we all deceiving ourselves in this country? Because we all know that at the end of the day, the so-called people that are saying they are ready to even drop the money are the people that will find in the corridor of power today. If they are not in the corridor of power, they are the people who will elect people that will be saying yes, sir, today, that will be tiptoeing around them. So why are we disturbing ourselves? Why are we, it's unfortunate that we just keep lamenting, hoping that someday we will get a visionary leader that will transform the affairs of this country. But till then, we'll keep lending our voice. All right, the second trending story.
But before we go to the second story,
Yes.
Kike, if you don't mind.
Break.
Yes. No, well, I wasn't talking of the break. No. But before we go on that, let me ask you, so it doesn't appear like you would like, seriously, that we just go on lamenting and all of that. Let me ask you, what would you have pegged the nomination for anybody who's aspiring for presidency or governorship under the party? What would you, maybe price-wise, or what kind of exercise would you have stipulated?
I think if you are talking about the financial angle, for me, it's not the finances, because as far as I'm concerned, people have goodwill in this country. There are certain things that I will do, and I know I just need to place a call to 2 or 3 people that will back me up. Do you understand? But the challenge for me is power of character. And I think I want to use this opportunity to actually tell people to go and read the book of late Dr. Miles Burrow, where he published the book Power of Character. And I feel that most of our leaders today, they lack conscience. They really don't have conscience. And the reason why you see that when we're talking about on this day in history segment, you've seen how we used an honorable man, Yaradua, in terms of how he was ready to serve and how he was conscious of educational system in Nigeria. Today, every year when the budget is out, the budget of education is at the lowest. Yes. So if you ask me, who am I actually going to be lending my voice on, or who do I want to back or whatever? I'm sorry to say this. I don't know if I have yet. I'm sorry. But maybe on sentimental level, because I know 1 or 2 people like Egbodele Momodu, I've met Peter Obi, who I feel that is decent in his own, in terms of his personality, and because he have entrepreneurship skills, and I want to tilt towards him a little bit. I also want to tilt towards, like I said, Egbodele Momodu, because he has run a business successfully by himself. Sometimes I feel that most of the people who are leading us today do not have all these skills to even manage a small business, an SME, before you can even say that you want to manage a state or a country. And some of them who have actually served on the state level, we have seen how bad they operated, and yet the same people will still vote for them. How can you see how mentally derailed that we are as a people? Because it's about our belly. It's not just about, because when those people come to us, someone once said to me that, Kike, if they come to you and offer you so amount of money, I say to them, guys, I have sponsors. I'm not relying on them, so I have every right to say no to them. On that note, let's close this.
All right.
She evaded your question. She evaded your question.
Okay.
They didn't answer your question.
It's okay.
No, you were talking about the strength of character, but he was talking about in terms of figures.
The party, yes.
What figure will you
how would you pick your
the nomination form?
But
because it's not going to be free. But answer's good. Yes. Very good. Yes. Strength of character.
Masha wants me to receive phone calls
after
this show,
but
I try to avoid that. All right, the second trending story that caught our attention is that of the tertiary education, the ASUU that accuses federal government of failing to prioritize the development of university. And I think that is still interwoven with all we've been saying thus far. And therefore, let me come to you, because I feel that the Academic Staff Union of University, ASUU, have accused the federal government of deliberately, attempt to kill the future of Nigeria. Of course, when it comes to the students, and also, I just feel that the children of the so-called leadership, but those people, the people who are in position of power today, I feel their children study abroad. And we produce half-baked graduates here, and even fail to even graduate some students, because I know that there are quite a number of schools today that some of these students are still, or some of these people are still at home and are yet to be graduated officially, but they are just, attached to one organization or the other, and thinking that those organizations feel that they are doing them a favor, which I feel that that's part of the challenges we are facing today. So what's your take on this? Do you think that ASUU president accusing federal government not paying for, I think, 200 billion naira or so. Do you understand? For asking them, and yet they are paying 4 trillion naira for fuel subsidy. And when I compare both between the fuel subsidy of Nigerians and the educational sector of Nigerian youth, what is more important? Is it not the education? What's your take on this?
My take is a nation that does not see the importance of education, it's on its way down already. And that's where we are right now. Because I do not understand those at the helm of affairs not paying attention to the teeming youths that we call the future. First things first, where is the Minister of Education? He's missing on the radar. He's missing. Where is he? The last time, for want of a better word, he had the bravado to have walked out on the NANS, the Students' Union, just because they were putting things in his face. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the future of this country. And the fathers and grandfathers that are in leadership today do not give a hoot about what happens to the education sector. Why don't they? Kike, you've provided the answer. Marshall, I'm sure you have the same answer. They can send their children outside the shores of this land to go and study. Whose monies are they using? Whose monies are they using? Time was when they said no civil servant should, be allowed to take their children. They should pass a bill. Where's that bill? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. Marshall, I don't know what you have to add.
Each time I hear ASUU strike and I hear the government and ASUU talking and, negotiating, one word comes to mind: flossy, noncy, nihilipification. It's the habit of describing something as worthless. We're living in a country that is almost making a caricature of itself. I mean, Kike, in bringing out, stating the statistics, did show us how, payment for, or alleged or claim for the payment of subsidy is far higher than what is budgeted for education. It's far higher than what is spent for, or what ASUU is asking for. And ASUU on their own side, I just think that they are triggering, just hitting the wall and hitting it wrongly. They're protesting on the wrong things. If these leaders have their children studying in the schools where ASUU is working, of course, ASUU is Academic Staff Union of Universities. If they have their children in these universities, you'd find out that the leaders would pay more attention to the needs of these universities, to the needs of these lecturers. One of my siblings called some time ago to say, look, ASUU is on strike, and in fact the circular was passed around the school and they were telling students to say, look, if you want to marry, go and marry, because we're embarking on a long-time strike. Go. We're not coming back anytime soon. And it was an official document sent around the school announcing to the students to go. I mean, it reeks of seriousness. It reeks of the level of...
it's just pure insensitivity.
I'm telling you, insensitivity. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And if you ask me, Efo, I tell you, number one priority of ASUU should be finding out how they can get these leaders to get their children study in local or federal universities in Nigeria.
They're not at the House of Assembly. They can't do it.
No, they can. They can move. Yes, they can sponsor several bills. They can ensure that
we have had that several.
The protests that they're currently running via strike or via industrial actions can be get towards that motion.
Yeah,
I hear you.
You have a point.
I hear you. And I feel that, for me, I just feel that the government in power right now have lost its priority. And honestly, we don't know what we are doing in this country with everything that is happening around us. And how can the government sit conveniently, undisturbed about the younger citizens of today? And I feel that when we come on this show, Masha, we talk about violence, we talk about terrorism, we talk about banditry, we talk about sexual misconduct,
everything put together.
And armed robbery, you know, societal decadence, and I just feel that all of this still boils down to the youth and how they are being treated and how they are being prioritized, because I feel that there is nowhere a failure like this can come if not because, you know, there is a failure in the system of education, you know, and that is the reason why you see that all these young vibrant minds, you know, are quick to want to engage in all these ills in the society at the moment. A university student is already becoming either an armed robber or a prostitute or a terrorist or a sex worker, for lack of a better word. Sorry, I take that word back. You know, for a sex worker and all of that. I just feel that, you know, I'm sorry to say the government in power, the government of today, they lack discretion. We'll go on a quick break
use focus
and get a word from our sponsors. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with us. And in case you just joined the show, today's conversation is on trending issues that interest us, that binds us together. And of course, there are a lot of recent news in our country today. We have been discussing the 100 million naira presidential nomination fund by APC, and of course the ASUU strike, and the government the government being insensitive to our requests or our needs in Nigeria. And further on, I think we will also be discussing the sex slaves that was rescued in Delta State, Delta State Hotel actually. And of course, the concluding story, maybe not concluding yet, the update on Osinachi Nwachukwu, the singer who was allegedly lost her life to domestic violence from her husband. And in case you want to join this conversation, remember you can call on 080-988-77400. It's showing on your screen right now. And we are streaming live on Silverbird and Real Talk with Kike platform on Facebook and YouTube page, so you can join on the conversation and let's rub minds together. You know, this is exactly what one of my co-hosts actually insisted that we must constantly do, so that we don't have guest-dominated show. And I'm glad that we're actually doing this where we can banter, because most times I feel that we actually don't hear our opinion all the way like that, you know, and because they're always holding us accountable. Don't say this, don't do this, don't do that, don't.
As if we're not.
Time is never our friend.
As if to say we are not humans ourselves.
So, you know. Kike, can we go back to
quickly.
The ASUU and the subsidy, 4 trillion naira for the subsidy.
To make that.
In the first place, you recall, both of you recall, and all Nigerians recall, that President Muhammadu Buhari was a one-time petroleum minister and is still the current minister of petroleum. And before he became the what's it called? Democratically elected president. He voiced out, what is subsidy? That it doesn't exist. So how come in the year preceding elections, the 2023 elections, you're going to the House, taking a request with you to say they should vote for 4 trillion naira dollars, you know, for petroleum subsidy. Who does that? The 4 trillion, where is it going to come from? Is it from fresh loans or the monies they already have in their pocket?
All right, quickly and therefore we need to wrap up on that. I know that we can keep going on and on these stories.
It's inexhaustible.
Like they say in Nigeria, while I know they finish.
No, be like bicycle. Be like bicycle.
All right, so the third story that caught our attention again is that of the police that rescued underage girls in Delta State Hotel. And you know, that word, when I saw it on social media, that rescued and the likes and all of that, but guys, let me first of all give you the background story, because according to the CP, he said the command received an intelligence report on April 15th, you know, April 15, 2022, the 5 underage girls rescued with, I think their ages, Happiness Johnson, who happens to be the youngest.
13 to 21.
Exactly. And the oldest among them was Angela John who is actually 22. And if you ask me, I'm asking myself, how sure are we that they are actually underage? Because as far as I'm concerned, I just feel that is either they are sex slaves or they are working on their own volition. Because most times when people are being caught, they look for all sorts of gimmicks to come and hide under the fact that it's this and all of that. Only one of them is below 18 years. And therefore, what does that tell us? I want to believe that they are being paid. And the reason why I'm thinking like that is that when I saw some of this video, they could have been underpaid, or the question is, how did they even get there in the first place? Hence the reason why they feel that, okay, let's lie under the fact that it's this and some of them were even actually lying on the economy. I'm wondering that we are not living in Nigeria together. What does the economy has to do with ill behaviors? What
does it even have to do with you being a sex slave?
See, we may discountenance what they said, but we look at that on the one hand. On the other hand, whether you like it or not, that's a trade that is thriving in this country. Why do you have Nigerians that are being taken out through the Mediterranean to go to Libya, go to Europe through Libya and all of that? You have some madams, that's what they call them. They're the ones who take these young girls. They promise them jobs that don't exist. They don't tell them the truth. They don't, you know. And what it's most annoying is the fact that it's women who probably have children of their own that do this to innocent children who are not, you know, poverty is the bane of all of this. Agreed, we're living in this country together, but we're not at the same level.
You know, a few days ago,
yes,
we are still trying, I don't know where this world is going to, because we are still trying to actually discuss about Christian pupils, and yet talking about another sex slave.
Yes.
Before I got to the studio today, my dad sent me a video of Christian students. Yes, I'm actually talking about it. Okay, I understand we have a caller on the line. So I try as much as possible not to share this video because it's more like child pornography. You know, you have to be, and I can see how, you know, and how people were dancing naked, and their tutors, the so-called tutors who are supposed to be guiding them, you know, are telling them, hey, you know, cheering them on and the likes and all that.
Was it in the same Dubai trip?
No, actually it happened here in Nigeria. It was like a beauty pageant parade and all of that.
Is it the same VGC branch?
No, I'm not sure about that. You know, I'm just worried for even the kind of, because the so-called people who are cheering them are also parents.
Kike, money is the name of the game, whether you like it or not. That's where we have found ourselves in this country. It's the highest bidder. So why would the teacher, why would somebody who is supposed to be a chaperone cheer on underage children?
And therefore, you know, to some extent, you are comfortable in your own rights.
Yeah.
Why is your own child not behaving like that?
Because
so I think it's about money.
No. That's what I'm saying. It starts, charity begins at home. Yeah. Parental failure, we have said it over and over again.
It's got nothing to do with money.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, what are we talking about? You are talking about those teachers who are supposed to be custodians of these children. What game are they playing? You talked about the one that went to Dubai. What game did you think they played there? It's all money. Whether you like it or not in the first place. Why will the school take 76, you know, pupils out of the shores of this land to a foreign land? What competition are you going there for? What games are you doing there that you can, you know, put together in your own school here? Do you understand?
Well, there's nothing wrong in going for an international.
I don't have a problem with that. 76 people, that's a bit too much. You're not representing the country. You're representing a school. So it's highest bidder, my dear brother.
Yeah.
Okay, so sex slaves, for me, I feel those were commercial sex workers, like you rightly, you know, thought. They were commercial sex workers, and for some very odd reasons, when they were caught, maybe in the past or in their practice, they've been undermanaged by their, if you may, their principal, and they thought it wise to turn the madam, turn on their madam. Investigations should be done properly. These guys, yes, just one person was below the age of 18.
13. Not
that their age is even good or right for that kind of a thing. I don't even think that is a thing that should be. But rescuing them, sex slaves, the police should do their job and investigate properly. These are commercial sex workers. and they shouldn't begin to point their fingers at the wrong places. You know, their madam or their principal should also be culpable and be held for responsible.
And I think that, Marsha, listening
girls.
to you, I feel that these children are from one home and they have surnames and they can be traced to their parents. Isn't it time, you know, for us to start holding parents responsible for the outcome of their children? No, they do care. The reason why I feel that they care is because most parents today, you see that sometimes they are liable in the sense that they are relying on the children.
To bring monies in.
It's high time Lagos State, you know, kind of enact a law that will curb all of these ills, because I remember
Lagos State is more
not
vibrant
Lagos
than other
State.
states.
This happened in Delta, you said.
Lagos State is more
Do you
vibrant
understand?
than
Yes.
other states.
When it comes to, yes.
Yeah, but the question is,
let's
Lagos
talk
State is
about
always the one championing a lot of things that makes other states just, you know,
take the
lead all the time. And I feel that, you know, I remember that there was a parent of cultists in one university that was liable, I think sometimes a year or 2 years ago.
And the parents were arrested.
Exactly. And I feel that they should now hold kind of a law or policy that can actually hold all these prostitutes and their parents,
not for cultists.
these sex workers and their parents, because it's becoming really
Kike, let me tell you a very quick story. This happened in one of the brothels in Ikeja. Okay, the father heard that the daughter who was supposed to be in school, uni, outside of Lagos, was found there. And the father came all the way there to accost the daughter. And the daughter denies the father. In the presence of everybody, I don't know who that man is. He's not my father. So you have a lot of them coming.
And they must have beaten him up.
No, he wasn't. It's a marketplace. Okay. Do you understand? You have them there everywhere. Who are those who patronize these people? Who are those who go to the universities to go cart away young girls to come to their parties? Who are they?
The party boosters.
Let's ask Kike. What do you think we should ask Kike? Kike, do you know them?
I don't know them because I don't have All right, because of time. All right, we have Joseph from Edo State. Please go straight to the point.
I can see your conversation. My contribution is that, is there no place they can go on tourism than going to Dubai for tourism? 76 students out of this country to another country. Are they contributing to this state? I mean, they want to expose our children. So the principal of that school must be dealt with.
All right, many times, Joseph.
Thank
you. Saying, is there no other place they could have gone for tourism? Well, Joseph, for your information, they didn't go for tourism. They went for a global sports competition. Yes.
And it's done annually, actually, you know, because I know that my... all right, guys, let's move on to the fourth story. And the first story is on the update on the domestic violence. The IGP gives latest update on Osinachi's death. And I've also seen the Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talin, who have also paid a courtesy visit to IGP Usman Baba at the force headquarters in Abuja on this case. And the question is, when will such cases, you know, sometimes when I look at updates like this, I'm asking myself, when will such cases actually get justice? Because the man is yet to be arranged, if you ask me. You know, I mean, arranged in to court, and the IGP has ordered a post-mortem examination on the disease to ascertain the cause of the death. And in my head, I'm like, our husband will still be charged to court as soon as all of this have been established, and yet, as far as we know, as at today's update, is the one responsible for our death. So I'm wondering, what kind of examination again? Because I know this actually happened during what's this boy, the boy that died in Dowen, Sylvester, that, you know.
We're not even hearing anything about it.
What's your take on this update thus far?
Well, the update, I think the Dame Pauline Talin is bent on following up on this particular matter at hand, because she had a one-on-one with her children. That's the late Osinachi's children. And she said the things that she heard from them were mind-boggling. You understand? And one of them, I think the eldest of the children even said, it's a good thing that the police have arrested their father. They're happy about that, because apparently the picture that they painted was the man was a terror in the house. So for what you said, they still have to get evidence. You just can't, charge him to court without evidence, because when it goes to court, all the lawyers are going to be looking for is evidence. Without evidence, there's no case, really.
So talking about evidence,
Yes.
that's why the IGP is saying, look, they're going to carry out more
The
examination.
post-mortem, yes.
The post-mortem. I do know that before her death, she was said to have had a case of a chest-related illness.
Blood clot.
So I think the doctors or the examiners would be able to determine if those were as a result of blunt force trauma or whatever it was, and that leading up to her demise eventually. And then they could find how culpable the man was if he had, repeatedly battered her or, violated her in a physical manner. It's a plus for me. But you see, people are asking out there that is Osinachi just the only case? And some people are saying it's because she's popular, she was popular, and that's why this is all coming to light. There are several others who have suffered in the hands
Are still
of
suffering as we speak.
domestic violent husbands and spouses, rather, because also some men have been violated.
True.
So I want to say to them, people who are saying, look, it's Osinachi because she was popular. Yes, it's Osinachi because she was popular. It'll take one person to set an example.
True.
And it'll take one person to bring about a law or a change in the society about something. And so this is a step in the right direction. Yes, Kike is concerned about, we've seen post-mortem done on the boy Romani. And we've seen how it was turned upside down. Yes, there were interest on that one. But in the case of Osinachi, I believe that something good will come out of it, and a precedent will be set, if not even a law, set on that. A precedent will be set, and most of these violent husbands and violent spouses could begin to see the cases drop. And so I would say thumbs up to the IGP, and I pray that a good job will be done from that post-mortem exercise.
And more thumbs up to Dame
many thanks
Tally.
for that submission, Marshall. I want to start by saying that the one who is dead has no struggle or fight to continue. And as a Yoruba woman, I will always come here, come and give you one proverb or the other, because Yoruba people will say, that is, I know that there are lots of, that is, those who are dead are the ones that have no hope anymore. Do you understand? Because as far as I'm concerned, again, I stumbled on Seun Kuti's post on my way to the studio again, where I was talking about men, especially Nigerian men, that tend to tilt towards violence towards their women, and they make you feel as if it's a cultural thing. It's got nothing to do with that, because I just want to tilt towards the fact that I don't want to say I know, there are a lot of narcissist men that are out there and do the things that Osinachi's husband have done. And though nobody's born with these traits, because I have to put this out there, I feel that these men actually pick this character traits in the society, or when it suits them when they want to do something ill. However, a narcissist, again, for those who do not understand the word narcissist, go and Google it, because I don't have much time and I don't want Moses to come and start singing, running commentary in my ears. A narcissist can break your soul, not just your heart.
Yeah.
So it's important for you to first of all save your life and your sanity first, and understand that understand that you should go to a place of healing, and a place where you can actually run with your children if you have one, and we can see the outcome of all these matters whichever way you want to look at it. Anytime I look at things like this, I'm wondering, when are they going to actually prosecute these people? When are they actually going to sue him? We might be here and be talking about the court of law and let alone talk about justice, but the IGP has ordered the post-mortem examination, because at I think the first time, like I said earlier, was about this Oromoni Sylvester, that I heard about this post-mortem thing and all of that. I'm wondering, what does it mean? when it is really glaring to us, and the family of the said of this so-called husband could decide tomorrow to say they are going to bail him, they are trying to get him to that he was not guilty of the this thing. And I feel that the judge presiding on this case is actually one of the people that I feel that at the end of the day, it could be pardoned because the children are left behind. They could use the children as an excuse. So the reality of this is that men can, these so-called men again, apart from him being pardoned, can tomorrow have another wife, have more children, and life goes on. So my message to the women out there, if you are listening to me, please go and watch this episode on YouTube. My message to you is that for women out there, you need to stop all the suffering of domestic violence. And sometimes it's not just the physical violence, it's the mental and
mental
you know,
is
that also comes with it. And I just feel that for the first time in my life, I feel that I have the urge to tell the women that you need to be selfish for yourself. In 2022, you come first. It's better for you to be alive for yourself and your children than for you to stay in an abusive relationship, all in the name of what society will say. Hello, look at me today. I am doing pretty well, despite whatever thing you want to talk about. The question is, the society actually aligned along with me. What does that tell you? Do the right thing.